Hi, happy campers. I'm Courtney Ortiz, your host here at the My Camp podcast. You guys are joining me live today here in the Girls HC, and I'm really excited to introduce my two brand new camp friends, Paula and Edwin Melendez. They are the owners and founders of the Davie Ranch Camp, which I just want to share to the listeners is a special place in my heart. We are in the same, basically, hometown, same county in South Florida. So welcome.
Love it.
Thank
Love
you,
it.
Courtney.
Thank you. Thank you for having us. It's super excited to be a part of this and to get us out there and to be on the program.
Thank you, Courtney.
So guys, before we get into the nitty-gritty of what is Davie Ranch Camp, what's your camp story? Everyone has a good one.
Well, there you go.
This is something, I guess, that, how I call it the sweetest lemonade. We bought the property many years ago, and the idea was to go ahead and try and flip the property because the market was going crazy here in South Florida. And then we went into a recession, and out of need and out of really trying to do something when things don't really go as you might think or you plan, this is what's come out. Originally it was supposed to be a quick flip, and it turned out to be a lifelong commitment of something that became part of our lives and changed us. And that culture, the animals and everything that we've brought in is a way that we created something that kind of just grew based on the things that we were trying to figure things out. And we've created a great place for people to come in and have a great time. And we do birthday parties and the camps and really the environment and just being outside is so amazing. It's a necessity. We need this.
What year was that when you bought it? Like 2008? I'm like
2007.
2008, which is when the market crashed.
Market was crashing. You got to figure it out. And we have parties, and our family is like, we roll 20, 30 deep with our
we have a
family,
big
family. So having parties and events is kind of how it started, where we would invite people and, Edwin Paula, can I have our party here, or my son's going to be, and absolutely come in. And it just kind of organically grew into something. And
we started with a party for our 4-year-old at the time. So we're parents we have 3 children, and our daughter was 4 years old at the time. She's going to be 19 now. Yeah, so we started with a little birthday party for her, and then it just ended up being like, let's do some more parties. But I'd like to have my party for my child here. And little by little, it just became a beautiful snowball effect of just one party after another. And then people started asking, why can't can we do riding lessons? How about we do a camp? So in 2012 is when I actually started our first summer camp program.
And what was that like? Like, how many kids did you have? Was it like just total
limited? So this is where you got to figure things out. It's like you're limited. We only had, like, the more horses you have, the more overhead you have, the more expenses you have. So it's like you keeping cost of operations. And our teammates weigh 1,200 pounds, and they eat 3 times a day, and they have to be cleaned up twice a day. It's like there's a lot involved in just operations wise. So that's where we were limited to how many kids we could go ahead with our teammates. And I think at max, we were probably like 20 something to 30 something kids at most when we first started to do the camp. And that was when we maxed out. Sometimes we would have 10, but it was just amazing. Just the fact that they were here and whatever the program that we started with, it just evolved and grew into something even greater. And then that's where the opportunities came in. And once COVID hit, we figured that you were limited to how many kids you could put on a horse's back and have a thing. But then there's so many other activities and things that you can be doing that. So we opened some of the things that we're doing here, and we do archery. The kids learn how to do archery. We also paint the horses, where the kids learn how to be the proper distance, like watercolors, and they can paint the horses, and it's like gives them an opportunity to see how far away they need to be from the horse so that they don't get stepped on. Not just incidental, they're big guys. So It's being able to be with the animals and kind of do that. And then those programs kind of evolved into other things. In the camp, we have it's an amazing camp. So these are all the things. We go swimming with the horses. We have our own lake here, and the campers get to come in and it's a magical experience. It's a magical experience. Being able to be, first of all, some of our kids are 60 pounds, 50 pounds, and they're able to control
A
a
thousand pound
animal and ride it. It's taking them in the water and or being on top and be able to do something with it. So it's very empowering. And that relationship, so the horses don't speak English or Spanish or French, and so it's like, that energy between the person and the animal is just something great that happens. And that's really where the magic happens.
Did you guys know horses before? I mean, because you were just flipping this property. Were there horses on the property when you bought it? Or was
No. We tried that. So we're like agro-tourism.
Yeah.
We are the agro-tourism business for Florida. It's like kind of where in a residential neighborhood. We have right next to the Hard Rock Hotel and Casino, where the airport is like literally 7 minutes away. So it's like, we're like centrally located, and our offering is a little bit different. So, having the property and the lake and the horses and the lifestyle is something that caters to a lot of people in a metropolitan area. So it's like, that's like we're the backyard for the beach, or we're centrally located, so it offers us the opportunity to grow.
Yeah, and I want our viewers and our listeners to like really understand the location. Like, we all are in South Florida. You are a farm really in the middle of the big city. It's a kind of a suburb between Miami, Fort Lauderdale. So like 10 minutes from you are the backyard of the beach. Like, you're giving these kids an opportunity to, I mean, I hate to say get outside. We're not Manhattan by any sense of the word, but we're not, there's people don't have horses and farm animals, and like, maybe there's
and that's what it
wagon
is.
somewhere in the home.
Yeah, we love to say escape to the country without leaving the city, because you're really in the city, but when you're here, you feel like you just went out in the countryside somewhere far away.
You have that disconnect. It's a break. You kind of lose your sense. The GPS gets broken when you come in. It's like a little bubble, and you kind of disconnect, and you're like, oh, okay. I needed that, and you're still here. You're right here where you needed to be, so that you can go ahead and continue. But I got that recharge.
So you were really and truly like learning to fly the plane while flying it. You went from being, real estate investors to really owning one of the favorite day camp experiences in Broward County in South Florida because of what you offer. So we're getting close to the countdown for summer, right? How many days until you're
6 weeks? 6 weeks. We have it on the calendar. We're like 6 weeks countdown.
So
we're getting ready.
What is the Davie Camp or Davie Ranch Camp day camp look like? Tell me about that.
So we separate all of our kids into groups of 10, depending on whether they're in riding, because like Edwin was mentioning before, we have different camps within our camp. Originally, it was just a riding camp, but because we are limited to the amount of horses that we have, we can't put 100 kids on, the horses that we have. So we have also something that's called adventure camp, which is a camp that is for ages 6 to 12-year-olds. And they get to explore and just enjoy the nature and being here at the ranch just as much. They just don't get to ride, but they get to still groom horses. They get to go to do archery. They get to go to our lake and do kayak and paddleboarding, fishing. We also have a sports court.
We just built a brand new sports court with pickleball and basketball and volleyball.
So the kids love that.
They have a great time. And we also have an obstacle course with a little zip line and tires, and it's a great playground. It's a great place right next to the water. So it's like in the shade. So it's knowing kind of how to, create those spaces and environment, and creating amazing outdoor spaces and really using them to have a great time.
We have the chicken coop. The chicken coop is also really a lot of fun. They go over there and learn about the different breeds of chickens and pick up eggs. And then they also go into the petting zoo and get to be with the small animals. We have goats and rabbits and guinea pigs and all kinds of other little animals. So they get to do that as well. The riding camp, they get to have their 30 minutes of actual riding instruction time, and in the arena with our riding instructor. And they get to learn about all kinds of animal care and how to groom and tack and parts of the horses. They get to do everything with the horses. And like Edwin mentioned before as well, we get to swim with the horses. So we go into our lake, and they go and they swim with them. So that's a lot of fun. And that's something that we provide for the summer.
Just to swim in a lake, like you said, swim in a lake 5 minutes from the Guitar Hotel, right? Like this doesn't happen. And I always like to say that necessity is the mother of invention. And, what was lacking in the day camp industry in South Florida is like a real, almost like traditional camping experience in South Florida.
In the middle of the
And
city.
it's growing. I mean, a lot of the times it's like this is the first time that people like may interact with a chicken or a goat because they're not typical animals. So
Right.
Donkeys.
we provide a great place for people to interact with animals for the first time. So learning the basics and the fundamentals of how to ride, and then taking it up to doing mounted archery, which is also part of our program that we didn't mention. We do the archery, and that was something that we brought in to kind of, again, working on a skill set. It's something that you can really focus in and kind of enjoy.
Like a Native American on a horse riding with the bow and arrow.
No hands.
No hands.
No
It's
hands.
like learning how to ride. Like, so first you have to learn how to do archery and the bow and arrow and stuff like that, and then being able how to ride a horse, and then learning how to ride a horse with no hands, because we're going to put those things together. And it's amazing once you really embrace how to communicate with the horse. It's really a lot of the movement. You're using your legs, not so much the hands. So having that communication with the horse, and then being able to go ahead and
it's very empowering. It's
How's
beautiful.
your bullseye, Edwin? How's your bullseye?
You know what? We're all right. We have fun. We get to practice. So this is fun, and that's what this is.
You got us to do all this crazy stuff.
when you have when you're able to go ahead and kind of enjoy what it is that you're doing, it naturally grows into something and fosters. So you see the branches and how the kids just migrate. We'll try something. You can only ride in a ring and go around in a circle so many times. And it's hot. And so we have trails through the trees, we have forests, we have a lake. We're doing activities, and yes, we have the arena, but we can go ahead and do archery or try different things and do the mounted archery. And there's also jumping. So it's kind of, the girls take that to like a whole other level, and the kids take that and it gives us the opportunity to try something out of our comfort zone and push our limits. This is the way the growth happens. So you're taking something that you don't necessarily feel too comfortable with. These animals are super big. It's the equivalent of you jumping on a giraffe. We're going to go ahead and put you on a giraffe, and we're going to jump over that house. Are you kidding?
Yeah.
Very intimidating. So being able to kind of get in, conquer your feelings, be able to communicate with something that, not in words, it's that energy, and then pushing a limit. It's very empowering. And that's kind of when you start to put those things together. There's people that really hone in and like that. Some people like the petting zoo animals, and others the horses, others the chickens, the donkeys. So we have different animals, different things that people can do. The fishing, there's kids that come in and they love, this is their first opportunity to fish, and they learn how to fish, or to be able to, they have been able to be on a lake or at the lake activities. So the kayaking and the canoeing, or being on a paddleboard, or jumping on the water trampoline. There's so many different activities. So it's like, it's fun, we stage it out. The beauty about this is that everybody gets to participate. So every 30 minutes, we're changing activities. So on our schedule, we rotate. We have groups of 10. Those groups of 10 of kids are all together. This is their team. This is their crew for the week.
Right?
That's their bunk. This is their team mates they're going on a journey. We're going to experience something. They're all together. Then we have groups of older kids and the pony club, and the activities are gauged for each of the animals. So even the older animals that we have get use and feel productive, because they're the ones that are getting painted and are getting massaged, and they're getting groomed. And it's a great, now this animal, which really can't be a racehorse or a jumping horse, or really, like, we find ways to go ahead and kind of integrate that. And it's a great experience for the kids to kind of learn those fundamentals. and feel safe. So it's very encouraging. And then we have the other horses that are going to take you and push you to the limits and jump, and you know, you can do that as well. So it's really, you're able to grow. And we have the groups every 30 minutes. We're rotating into another activity so the kids don't get bored. They're engaged, and you know, we're cooling down during the mid parts of the day. When it's the hottest is when we'll be in the water and swimming and doing that, and then rotating it, and then where they can wash up, clean up, we have food. So it's like, it's a great program, and it works, and it really stems from an amazing organizational type system and structure that builds a culture, and everybody buys into it. The girls, we've been doing the camp now for a really long time, and the kids that are starting out and going through these camps, some of the kids I've known since they were 8 years old, 7 years old, and they're currently our employees, and now they're 19 and 18. So they've been here and have been through the system. It's part of their culture. They know the animals. So then now naturally we have like a counselor in training, and then they go in to be instructors, or they take it wherever they want to go. But it gives them the opportunity to grow in something that isn't very common. It's not an industry that is like, so if this is your thing, you quickly find out, and then it gives you the opportunity to grow into whatever you want to take it into.
Yeah, it's almost as if those kids, or any person who has this like innate ability with animals, it's almost like an additional intelligence, right? Like that they just have this special connection, and they want to be with animals. They don't care what they're doing, riding, brushing, grooming, snatching, collecting eggs. They just want to be around animals. But you were talking so much about, I want to go through, what is a Wednesday in July look like at Davie Ranch Camp? Take me through your schedule.
So the campers start to arrive between 8:45 and 9 a.m. We have a car line drop off. So they get dropped off, they get taken to their groups. And then around 9:30 is when we start our first activity. So each group has a different activity, which we have them all separated into different sections. And like Edwin said, we rotate them every 30 minutes. So one group will go, let's say the riding group will go to the cross tie area, which is where they'll get the horses prepared. So that first 30 minutes, they're getting the horses ready, they're grooming them, they're tacking them, getting them ready to ride. Then after that, they go into the arena and they do their riding lesson. After that, they come back out, they'll have a snack time. Snack time from there, they'll either go to the chicken coop, or they'll go to the petting zoo, or they'll go to archery. We'll have lunch. After lunch, we'll take them probably to the lake. The lake, they go over there, they spend about a good hour at the lake, because honestly, that is really like such a great time to cool down. It's a lot of fun. We have lifeguards out there, and we have music, and it's just such a wonderful environment to be at. And so it's just a great time to just chill out. After that, we come back and we wrap it up with either whatever activity they haven't done yet, whether it's the archery or the petting zoo or the chicken coop, or some sort of activity at their table. We have the sports court that they'll do a game at, and then we wrap it up at around 2:30, 2:45 is when the parents start to arrive, and the camp ends at 3.
Oh, what a nice day. Like perfect. Because like, guys, it's hot in South Florida in the summer. All right. It's why I do not stick around. I work at a sleepaway camp up north because it's hot. So that sounds like such an amazing day. And then do you offer programs like after, like people that privately ride? Do you have that as an option at Davie Ranch Camp too?
We don't at the moment. We don't, because the horses are working so hard throughout the day, and they're giving so many lessons that we just typically give them the afternoons off. So during the summer, we concentrate 100% during camp hours, and then after camp, everybody gets to take a break.
And then we rotate.
It's really hot after 3 o'clock. So
exactly. So whenever we'll schedule, like lessons will happen in
the weekend,
off season, exactly,
or in the off season.
And then we'll do the rotations and stuff like that.
How many campers do you see at a summer?
So we are anywhere between 80 to 100 per week.
Okay, and they're weekday.
Yes, they're weekly sessions.
Wow. I wanted to kind of circle back, Edwin, you were talking about like your campers that you've known since they were 7 and now they're 19 and they're counselors, you know, and this is a time of the year too, like when you're hiring for the summer. And this is like a resounding theme in all of our podcasts, interviews, that nobody is a better worker than those ex-campers, right? When you can get those
100%.
ex-campers back as staff, nobody works as hard. They're passionate. They know it. So I can just imagine, like, those are your most valuable
players. It's
employees.
Like what makes it work. Because again, you could put the mix together and you can have the horses or the animals or the program, and there's different camps throughout the country, throughout the world. And this is something that stemmed out of what you said, necessity. Being able to figure things out, finding the need, you know, almost organically of what happened. There was a need in the community that we've been able to fill in. It's so beautiful. That's why it's life-changing. There's
like,
so
at what
much
point
that goes
did
into
you
it.
and Paula look at each other and go, oh my God, we are going to have to do a trend, like a shift here. Like there is an opportunity. Whoa.
We live in South Florida, and you're either boating and you're by the water and on the water, which is the South Florida lifestyle. Or you really kind of find this niche and embrace. And I think that I'm going to say that probably once our twins were born, that it really became something where we said, wow, wait a second, we can really do something special here, where it's not all work. Here's the best way to monetize from this. And then throughout, from when COVID came,
COVID was another.
It was a boost. So there's levels, there's steps. So it was scary because we didn't know, you know, this is the first time it was a pandemic. You know, what are people, everybody was closed in, like solitary confinement. That's not healthy for anybody. So everyone was forced in to a situation, and then kids are bouncing off the walls. The parents were like, when are you going to go open up so that we can make you go out and jump around and play? And then that's where we kind of were very thoughtful, because, you know, people with their children bringing, you know, again, having, how do you mitigate not spreading something? So we put the programs in place. We're able to figure it out, and went from having 30 kids in a camp to having 110, and having all the systems in place so that, one, we're educating, where there was we have the thermostat, the thermometers to go ahead and measure. So when people, the car line, how people were coming in, dropping off the kids, how to wash their hands and disinfect coming in, staying with their group. We put the bandanas, they each had a color, so they knew what group they were in. And those are the same 10 kids that are supposed to be together. So it was really interesting how that kind of evolves. And those things that we've taken, having it just rotates that organization. So if you're a part of it, and we were in the group last now, oh wait, here we're doing it again. It just becomes second nature.
So you
the horses
stayed open.
Taking care.
You were open in summer. You were open in summer 2020.
For sure. And we even came in, who was it? We had Despierta America.
Despierta America, which is like
Good Morning America in Spanish. So they came in, they filmed in for 3 days. They wanted to film the first 3 days of what we were doing. And I looked at her and I go, are you serious? Are we getting set up here?
Isis wants to say hello. Is this Isis? Isis, come over here.
This is our first horse.
This is our first guest. Here we go.
Look at Isis.
Yeah.
She has blue eyes.
She's
and she has even though she looks white, she's actually like a Carmelo color. And she has a white blaze here. Blue, beautiful ocean blue eyes.
Guys, if someone told you 20 years ago that you would be running a horse day camp and telling me about the blaze on the horse's nose, you would say, give me another cafecito, no way.
Yes.
And an accountant from Queens.
I'm from Queens, New York.
And she's an accountant.
Corporate America.
Yeah.
Which I honestly think is really one of the reasons, besides the fact that we're parents and we love animals and we love nature, we're also business people. So we were able to put both together, and really we're able to structure a really great camp and a great program that is amazing for kids and just everyone. Even adults ask me, when are you going to open up a camp for adults? I'm like, I'll get there.
We're working on it.
But I've been trying to perfect the kids camp as much as possible. We really enjoy it. It's really gratifying. as much work as it is, and it's hot, you know, you're dealing with a lot of variables, but it's very, very gratifying just to see a child come in and the 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 progression and the growth that happens in 1 week, and to see that in some of these kids is just amazing. And it's, you know, it's really the environment, the people, the kids who have been here have seen them grow, the love that they've put into the place as well, because these animals, we all share the animals in common, right? It's the love for these guys, the ISIS, and seeing them come in and that sort of thing that has really made our program very special.
How many horses do you have?
15.
Whoa. Oh, that's a lot. I mean, that in itself is a full-time job. Just
Oh, yes.
my aunt
Yes.
has two
Yes.
horses, and she's always, you know, they're constantly taking up her time. So that's
It takes a team. So a lot of the stuff, I'm not going to shout, even the staff, they're very young and they're learning. This might be the first job, the first time that they're needing to do with it's different. We live in a digital world of technology and instant access with iPhones, and you know, you get that with a horse, with an animal, it's different. You know, now you have to do something for something in order to get it. So it's like the result. It's a kind of, it slows you down a little bit so you can really be present. And that's where it is. It's that growth, how you're able to kind of disconnect and be able to kind of move into and progress into learning how to do something, building a skill set, feeling comfortable, knowing that you like chickens or horses or riding or archery or, you know, being outside, whatever it is. It's like you kind of grow into that. You're trying something new. And that's where it's gratifying. A lot of it, you mentioned it, that evolution, that progress. We have kids that have never seen something for the first time and might be like, oh, and then next thing it's like, oh man, I need this.
Wait a minute, it smells like horse poop in here. And then by the end, oh, horse poop.
right. Because it means there's
Let me go get
someplace
get
that they
the muck
love.
bucket. I'll get the
You
muck
know,
bucket.
when they can associate that smell with a place and people that they love, like that is success. When you can make smell of horse.
When we can get them there, right? Yes.
Oh, and I think this goes to, you know, has a lot to say about you guys and your leadership, you know, and the program that you've built there based on like, you know, the necessity in the community, and like taking this, what could have been a really bad investment at a time when the market sucked, to like hashtag living the dream, right? Like you're living the dream. I work at a sleepaway camp, so I go away for the summer, you know, for that adult sleepaway camp. You're still working, but it's a dream. Like it is really, it's
healing. It's very healing at the you know, in this times that we live in right now, with everything being so connected and can't get out of your phones. And so to be able to come here and connect with nature and just be out in the outdoors and disconnect, that is, it's very rewarding. And like I said, healing. And I think that everybody feels that.
Do you do 2:00 cafecito time? I mean, this is South Florida. For those that aren't familiar, in Miami, it's 2:00 cafecito time. Yes, I might be looking for a job.
We
have an espresso machine in the back. We have it in the office. It's espresso on tap.
Love it. Oh, speaking to my heart there.
Absolutely.
So what's next for Davie Ranch Camp? When I interview guys in another 10 years, what's going to happen?
We have lots of plans.
It's growth. I think it's just in the same way that we started off and found a niche, a necessity that we were able to fill, and having people coming out here and enjoying a great time. Unfortunately, it's like limited. You're able only to be here for a short period, a day or 3 hours or 4 hours. It's an activity, you know, and being able to kind of grow and expand and have a sleepaway camp that's going to be right here in the city and accommodate X amount of kids or people, so that families, so that you can come in and enjoy this for a weekend or a week and kind of do those things. That is where I think that we're growing now, and that's the expansion. That's where kind of the growth is happening. So what that involves, we're right next to the Hard Rock, where we have a great culture that's growing, and it's like a garden. It's a flower. It's something that you're watering and putting energy into and nurturing, fertilizing, and it's growing. It's going to blossom. So I expect that this in another 10 or 20 years is going to be something that's providing even more things for the people that are coming here, and they're all going to be taking away different experiences, whether it's a stay or a camp or being outside or being married here, who knows, it's going to be different things, but it's more of this. It's preserving. I will tell you that it will be preserving everything that we've been able to do, and what we want to do is to protect and kind of make sure that that consistently can grow and be here, because it is something that's very important for the community, and these type of spaces are disappearing. So being able to figure everything that we need to out in order to be able to make those things happen with all the development that's taking place. I'm a builder. I do smart houses and construction. So to mitigate, you have to preserve a certain level of this so that it's not all just that. We need to have these types of spaces and these activities and these programs for us. And it's like, as our kids are growing and evolving, we're seeing different needs as well, and how we can contribute and help. It's that we've been married now, we're going on 20 years, and this is it. It's pick a great teammate. I'm in love with my wife. She's my partner, my teammate, and there isn't anything that we can't do together if we set our goals to it. And that's the core. That's the core of the family. So everything that comes around that, and it's all wholesome and healthy, it's going to grow. So I think it's going to be awesome.
Do you think your kids will take over? I mean, do you see that being the trajectory? Fingers crossed. Or...
They've mentioned that they have, that
this is a part of their lives,
they see
and it's something that they've been able to evolve with and be a part of throughout the whole process. They've grown up into the program, and all the activities. It's kind of stemmed from them. So it's always going to be a part of their lives, and I think. Isabella, who's away at school, and she's, college freshman, pursuing her career, extremely talented. She's coming back and is still one of the lifeguards that we have at the camp, because, that's her role. We get to go and live our lives. And then, like you, get to be a superhero and go off to your camp away and be that person for that crew, because that's the role that we play in that family. And here we have our Davie Ranch family is huge. So all of the people that, they're going to go ahead and do stuff. We all migrate, come together. This is home. That's what it is. This is home. They all come back in the summer. It's the break, and people can come together. We live in different places, do different things, but I get to be the superhero to do that activity, or be this with the horses, or that during that time. And it's like, we get to live a dream. So yes,
I have several kids, but I have one kid in particular right now who's competing at a national level, and with great horses. I'm talking about a very high level, and I see her videos, and I commented the other day. I said, "I'm so proud of you," and she wrote back. She said, "Thank you to you guys. It all started there," and it's incredible. I mean, that to me is amazing. I had one little girl who also won like nationals, and she brought me back a huge picture of her, winning her ribbons, and said, "Here, this is, you guys started this." So
it's a family win. So yeah. It's you're fostering. It's a good positive energy towards really a common goal, and people get to do things. So our kids are a part of it. It's going to be a part of what they're doing, and they're learning how to. Again, there's a lot of moving parts, and they're playing different roles. So they're learning how to interact with people, how to do business, how to do activities, how to do projects, how to team build, when things don't go as planned, how do you problem solve? So these are all things in a controlled environment that we can kind of gauge and guide young people, not just our kids. And that influence carries over. And that's why it's a big family, and it's reciprocal. It's that karma, what you're putting into it, it's going to evolve.
It's a beautiful
it's a great vibe.
Yeah.
It's great energy. People smile whenever they come here. People smile when they see us. So it's a great thing that's going on, and it's a happy place. So we're
and
glad
your daughter wants to be home with you for the summer. Like, you get to see her, which has got to be so special that she's making that choice. You guys are truly trailblazers in the camp community, especially here in South Florida, providing these opportunities for kids that just aren't available. Day camps in South Florida don't look like this. They don't offer these kinds of opportunities. And man, what do you have a sleepover or a some sort of sleepaway camp there for kids that don't, they don't want to go out of state, or they don't want to go to be able to be 5 minutes, 10 minutes from home. Some parents don't feel comfortable with
The
that.
comfort level.
Yeah. So to be able to provide this is really, really amazing. Guys, thank you so much for joining me today. Again, I want to tell we were in the same county, so I'm gonna, next time I see you is gonna be in person. I'm gonna come by 2 o'clock for coffee
for sure.
Hour. And it's been such a pleasure. I wish you the best summer ever. And
thank you, Courtney.
It will not be the last time. I promise.
Love it. I expect it.
Yes.
Want to get you in the lake on a horse so we can go.
You got it. Oh, you got
it.
You got it.
Let's plan that.
100%. So
love it.
Guys, thank you so much for joining me today at the My Camp podcast. If you want to hear more about My Camp, you can listen to us on where you listen to your podcasts, on Apple and Spotify. And I'll see you here next time in the Girls HC. I'll save us more for you.
Take a moment to shine.